Okay, I've unmuted Ash. You can go ahead.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Manhattan Community Board 11's Youth and Education Committee meeting for February. The meeting is called to order at 6:34 p.m. My name is Asher Rodriguez. I'm the chair of this committee. All right, before we begin, a few ground rules. No one may speak until granted the floor. CB11 members, if you have a question about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. Members should not engage in a back and forth discussion. The chair will recognize the next person to speak. Please keep your questions and comments moving on topics of discussion. Members of the public, if you have a question or comment about the subjects on the agenda, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. All right, so Khalid, if you can call the roll.
You got it. Okay, committee members, there are 8 members on this committee, 5 needed for quorum. David Giordano. Present. John Green. Here. Malik McCullough. Here. Jennifer Matter.
Present.
Asher Rodriguez.
Present.
Isaac Scott. Russell Short.
Present.
And Shanique Wolfall is an excuse. You have quorum, Chair.
All right, thank you. The agenda was distributed in advance. I'm gonna get yelled at for minutes, so I'm not even gonna take the time to say anything about that. But the agenda was distributed in advance, so if there's no objections to the agenda, we could take it as stated. Everyone received the updated agenda, because there's a couple of changes in between today and yesterday. Sorry about that. All right.
The updated one is printed out here. Anybody can, of course.
All right, so if there's no objections to the agenda, we will continue. All right, announcements. There is open houses with Union Settlement Early Childhood Education slated for March 2025. Once we get those exact details, we will let y'all know. Like I've been saying, I'm hoping that we could all at least go to at least one event in the community, myself included, but instead of everyone going to one event, maybe just like communicate if you're going to an event, so we can distribute out representation from the committee. And SYP application is open, and I believe it's due on the end of this month. It's a very short application period.
It is, but also I was informed that encourage people to fill it out right away because they can lock sites when they reach a certain capacity. So that other programs, it's distributed to other programs. So while we heard it may go to the end of February, it could stop earlier.
All right. Thank you, David. Is there any other announcements about stuff going on? All right, see no other announcements, we'll continue. All right, so we're gonna start with, I see Dr. Christie, so I'm gonna go to Dr. Christie first.
Hi, Asher. Good evening, everyone. First and foremost, I want to say thank you for inviting me. I also want to say happy Black History Month, Black Lives Matter. We have so many great things going on in the district, and I know other people here can talk about it. But as a community, we've been talking about how Black history is American history, how it's not just for a month, and how do we continue to really lift and elevate the identities of all of our people and continue to think about what stories we share. I did bring along, in case you see two Dr. Christy Dela Cruz's. I wanted to invite to the community board, the youth and community chair, our newest principal, Dr. Tracy Smith. So if you can, she's on virtually. Dr. Tracy Smith is our appointed principal for the Lexington Academy. And so I just wanted to let you guys meet her. And I want to thank David Giordano, because I know he was a part of the C30 hiring process, and just really thank the community in helping us find the best candidate for Lexington.
Absolutely.
I hate to put Dr. Smith on the spot, but would you like to say anything, Dr. Smith?
Sure, thank you. Thank you, first of all, to Dr. Christie and for the committee for allowing me to be a part of your meeting for tonight. I'm very excited to join the community and be a part of the Lexington Academy, as well as the entire East Harlem community. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, and we look forward to working with you, Dr. Tracy.
Same here.
Thank
And-
you, Dr. Smith.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Smith, for coming. And I know that tomorrow we have our CEC meeting. And so during tomorrow's CEC meeting, I will give the Fair Student Funding budget presentation. So I just wanted to make that announcement. I'm also going to, and I can put the links as well in the chat, review all of the different ways and the systems and structures in which we are supporting our multilingual and immigrant families right now. That's another area. And I'm glad to hear that you talked about the Summer Youth Employment Program. We're also going to share tomorrow that early in March, the Summer Rising portal is going live, and it's really, we're going to come back from the midwinter recess, and the Summer Rising portal is going to open up quickly. So we do have more sites open this year, so I'm excited to share that we do have more Summer Rising sites. We have the 007 campus open. We have 96. And then we have what a lot of people, it's the 45 building, but that's where River East is located. And I'm happy to say that we're going to have swimming offered this summer. The swimming will continue for throughout the summer. Then we also have Lexington, which Lexington is always a main hub. And I know that David and Asher and everyone here can talk to how Summer Rising is alive and well at Lexington. Then we will also have the Tito Puente Educational Complex, the 117 building open, and there will be kindergarten through grades 12 offered at that site. And then we will have PS 146 will be open, as well as the 50 building, which is where Central Park East 2. And so the way it works is we open all of those sites, and then all of our schools are affiliated with one of these sites. And I'm really proud of, I know that Summer Rising, the application process seems to be one of the hardest things, but once we get it all up and running, we are deeply committed to supporting all of our D4 families. And so continue to reach out as needed, whether it's myself, my team, our principals, our parent coordinators. We just want to lift that is going on. And I think those are the main items right now. We next week is midwinter recess. Oh, next Friday, the 21st, we are having a early childhood event, which I can share the flyers with. It's going to be at the Johnson Community Center. We're partnering with the mayor's office as far as bringing out all of the CBOs, our 3K pre-K to help with enrollment. And that is Friday, February 21st. That we'll be doing enrollment information and community resource support. I'm probably forgetting things, but that is, I do have exciting news. Dr. Tracy doesn't even know about this. This is like so like hot off the press. We are really, really excited that so far with our mid-year data, and this is qualitative and quantitative data, we're seeing gains and growth across the district in basically every grade. and it's about a 4% increase of growth and progress. So we're really for for English and math, and so we're really happy and proud of our community for working together. And so that's definitely a positive going from beginning of the year to middle of the year, and just knowing everything that we have been facing as a community. I'm just really, really proud of all of our educators, our leaders, and our parents, because our parents are huge instrumental in this work. So thank you, Asher, and the entire oh gosh, that entire youth. Caleris is there, and she's reminding me too. So I am excited. This is like top secret. But Hunter College is going to support us. You remember El Centro, in having a Bad Bunny Youth Summit. I can't hear anybody's excitement, but I'm really excited. Uh,
We try to absorb it, Dr.
No, I'm really excited because I even got another email today. I'm like, is Caleris on that email? But they just even reached out today that we're really planning and going to do it. March 13th, everyone is here. Everyone here is invited. It's going to be community-wide. We're going to do, it's also going to be our Civics for All, Democracy Now. I say Democracy Now, sorry. Democracy begins here. My team would laugh at me because I'm always like, Democracy Now. And they're like, no, this year the theme is Democracy Begins Here. But our youth are helping plan this event. A lot of you met our student panel from the last community forum, and they're going to help co-plan this event. But more to come between March 13th and a Bad Bunny Youth Summit. More information to come, but we're really, really excited, and we're trying to continue to lift and elevate the voices of the community. On Thursday, I will share out a flyer this evening with the whole community. We are having and if anybody needs any additional support for Know Your Rights or any kind of, if any family is needing any support, you can always reach out to my office as well to provide that support. But on Thursday, PS 102 has a community event where they're going to be partnering with Deputy Speaker Diana Ayala and some community-based partners with talking about not only Know Your Rights, but also gun violence, safety in the community, and other topics that the students and community have brought up. And that's Thursday at 10 o'clock. But again, thank you, thank you. I hope if I'm forgetting something, I'm sure someone else here will remind us, but really proud and excited of all the great things happening in the community. And I just want to encourage everyone here to continue to stay connected, continue to support each other. And I truly do believe that the better we support each other and work together, the greater impact we can make. So thank you to all of you, and thank you to the community board. I want to thank you also for coming to our Respect for All kickoff. David, he's the amazing DJ. So thank you, David. And then I also know that Rosa and David and other members were there. I can't remember everybody's names, but the community board was well represented. And I want to thank everyone for just your support, your ongoing support and advocacy. It's much appreciated. So thank you. I don't know, Asher, I'll pass it back. That was a lot. Sorry. I even saw Asher this weekend, you know.
Thank you, Dr. Christie. Just a quick question, because we all know how confusing the summarizing application can be because it changes very slightly every year. Number one, the most common complaint I hear is people not being able to select the CBO within the building that they want to go to when they fill out the application. Will that be an option? And number two, will you be holding workshops for families on how to fill out the application?
Thank you for those great. So I have not, in full transparency, I have not looked at the portal myself. We do provide support for our families. Typically speaking, the parent coordinators are the ones that we really leverage and train. Right now, we only have a couple of vacancies in the district. And with those places that have vacancies, we ask the schools to identify who's the point in the meantime to help train. But I will definitely bring that back to our team to see if we want to have a district-wide, like, office hours or clinic to help. Because I do know that that is an ongoing issue. And what I will say is that our parent coordinators really try to do a great job of helping our families navigate which CBO. Sometimes our families, and I say this with no judgment, don't even know what CBOs they're associated with. And so it can be very confusing when there's a menu of, like, for Lexington, it's like 3 choices, right? It's like Children's Aid, Scan Harbor, and Union Settlement, right? And so sometimes people don't know which one they're applying for. And so it is challenging. I will say, I was going to try to pull up, and I will.
I'll also add, Dr. Christie, that, sometimes certain CBOs may fill up before the others, and then the other CBO is the only one available to parents. We have been able to work on some transferring internally, but I think, as Ash was saying, part of the problem is that there are many people that are outside the community who are quicker to apply for the spots in our community and may get accepted into the school. They do say there's a priority if you are already in that school in CBO, and we're hoping that it falls into line. Because what happens is we're often underservicing kids.
Yeah.
Because we can't then enroll kids after the fact.
So I'll put it, no, I just want to, you're absolutely right. And these are things that, quite frankly, that's why I want to, get out as much information. Some of our schools have already messaged with the community because I'm CC'd on those emails, but like the application opens on March 4th. That's why I wanted to bring it up today. That's when the application opens. It closes on March 28th. So it's a very quick window. Offers will be released in April. And then Summer Rising starts on July 2nd and goes through August 15th for grades K through 5. And for 6 through 8, it is July 2nd through August 8th. And I do know that we're training our PCs and so forth. Let me see. Yep.
I would also encourage CBOs to do
Yes.
workshops for parents at the end of the day.
Mhm.
And, have like laptops or,
Yeah.
right there with parents. You gotta get in, that's the important.
Well, the other thing too is that all of our parents need to really get into their My Schools
Yes.
account, and there's PIN letters. The PIN letter will contain the student's creation code, and those PIN letters are available to all the current families the week of February 10th. And we started training for school staff on February 11th, which was literally, that's yesterday? What's today? No, that's today. The first training was today. So I'm telling you, this is like really, really hot off the press. But I can send it to, I can send it your way, the email with all of the resources. But you're absolutely right. It's the application process. How do we get the information? For CBO staff, they have another email that's like Youth Services Operations at DYCD. So I'll forward this email that I received just about summarizing emissions and so forth. But that's why I wanted to lift it for everyone, because March 4th is right around the corner. I know it doesn't seem like it, but literally we have just a couple of weeks. And so the better we plan and prepare our families, the better they will be able to support our families. I will say that as far as I know, David, we've been able to all of our families that have been interested, and we've been able to find a summer rising site for all of our families, or at least a summer option for families that reach out to us. So I really want everyone to continue to reach out, because as you shared, we try our best to make it work for everyone. And there's we do have more summer rising sites open this summer than what we've had in the past.
All right. Any other questions for Dr. Christie?
And I just want to apologize. I do know with all the application, it is a challenge. I feel like every year though, we keep getting better. So I'm hoping this year it'll be even better.
Yeah, no, I don't even think it's like anyone's fault. It just changes slightly every year.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
We had our meeting today with DYCD about the registrations.
Okay.
It seems like we online what we're both hearing.
Oh, good. Well, that's good. Because sometimes, David, we hear that's good. That's a positive. That's a win.
It's when we get together, we hear the differences.
Right?
Any other questions? All right, seeing no other questions, thank you, Dr. Christie.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Is Elizabeth on yet from CC4?
It's Elizabeth Soto.
Yes, yes,
So,
that's Elizabeth, yeah.
Elizabeth, you keep rejecting the panelist invite. Please accept it.
You know, I think it says something different, because I
It
think I
says that-
rejected it too.
I just get a
Right,
note.
that's right.
Yes. Elizabeth,
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I'm so sorry to the screen. I was listening. Well, good
Alright.
evening, everyone.
good evening.
All right, so I'm Elizabeth Soto Cardona. I am the president for the CC, District 4. Just wanted to share that tomorrow we'll have our calendar meeting. It will be held at PS 83 and PS 182, and the address there, I'm sure everyone knows, is 219 East 109th Street. Tomorrow we'll have our Fair Student Funding presentation, along with hopefully we'll review 3 resolutions, and hopefully we'll be able to pass them. The first one is resolution on enhancing public safety in the interior of the United States. Then the second resolution is opposing a cell phone ban in New York City public schools. And the third resolution is urging New York City public schools to promote inclusion of and correct bias against English language learners in the administrative of the SHAT and admissions to specialized high schools. That's what I have for you guys. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate you coming.
Elizabeth, did you hear about the SYP? It's open, get it done as quick as possible. Children's Aid is in there now.
Done.
Very good, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Any raised hands for any questions for Elizabeth? All right, seeing no raised hands, thank you, Elizabeth. Appreciate it.
Thank you
You're
so
always
much.
here. If you don't have anything to say, I appreciate it. Anyone here from CEC5? I don't remember who the representative is. I'm so sorry.
We'll have to do better to identify who our liaisons are.
Okay.
Yeah, they also have a conflict on there.
Yeah, they usually do, yeah.
But we send out the notice to them for sure. They're in receipt.
Anyone, is Tashari here?
Tayari heard?
Tyari, yes,
Yes.
sorry, my bad, Tyari.
No problem. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tayari. I'm an education coordinator in the Community Partnerships Unit of the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. And I just would like to share a few updates. We are pretty busy. It's a fun time for us. We are in the community. We're at Park East High School, I believe. I'm sorry. Yeah, we were at Park East High School. I was tabling last week at their Opportunities Fair, and I'll definitely be at their upcoming job fair, which is exciting. We're working with Esperanza Preparatory Magnet School to give an internet safety cyberbullying presentation to their parents. And of course, we're all over, but that's what we're doing in East Harlem. And then also we have a resume workshop that's going to be occurring downtown. It's a high school resume workshop. It's open to all high schoolers. And I'm gonna put the registration link in the chat. But we have also started to directly communicate with all of the schools. So I did reach out to all of the principals and parent coordinators with this information, which is exciting. And that's a new thing that we're doing to offer this stuff and keep everyone involved with our educational programming and also internships. So our gun violence prevention fellowship application is open. And lastly, our high school internship program application is open. And these opportunities are limited to youth who live in Manhattan, which is a new change, but these are really renowned programs for high schoolers who are interested in criminal justice and would like to get paid experience on their resumes. So thank you all for the time, and we're really happy to continue partnering with all of the schools. Any
All right.
Thank you.
I have one question for you. Can you give the due dates of those applications?
Yes. So applications for HSI, the high school internship program closes March 12th, and the gun violence prevention fellowship application closes March 10th.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
David.
Thank you.
Hi, Todd, one quick question. Several years back, I work at Lexington Academy with Children's Aid, where the DA's office had done some workshops on dating violence. Are you still doing some of those workshops that we can have y'all come out and do it with some of our middle school kids?
Yes.
How's
short
best
answer
to
is
contact
yes.
you in relation to that?
We would love to coordinate that. I would coordinate that personally. I can write down your email. We're actually closed tomorrow, so I won't be online tomorrow for the CEC4 meeting, but I can email you Thursday. So you can, yeah, I would love to coordinate that with you. We also have a request form, but I could put
Yeah,
my
you can
information in the
forward
chat or reach out.
Okay.
That's no problem.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Tyari. All right, is there any other city agency partners who would like to give an update before I continue?
Yeah, Rosa, but she's representing.
Oh, there we go, yes. Rosa, you could go.
Thank you so much. I did send out a couple of slides. I don't know if you guys had the chance to share it now, but it would be great if you guys can share it later on because there's a lot of information that I do provide. My name is Rosa Diaz. I am the president of Manhattan High School's President's Council, and I do chair the Chancellor's Advisory Parent Council. On Thursday, we have our meeting, February 13 at 9:30 a.m. It will be YouTube Live, so please, if you have any questions or would like the information, please email me at cpac@goeexternal.nyc. We will be having presentations from the Office of Chancellor, the Senior Director of Program Implementations, Tamara Mayer, and the Office of General Counsel, Senior Field Counsel Director, Charles Crowley, explaining about families and students knowing their rights and how New York City Public School is protecting our children. We're also going to have the Chief of Policy and Evaluation, Niket Mo, speaking about state testing and parents and students' rights for accommodations, opting out, and more. We're also going to have our amazing Chancellor, Melissa Aviles Ramos, and we will be voting on 2 resolutions. One of them, it will be enhancing multilingual support and communication in New York City Public Schools by updating the Chancellor's Regulation 8663 to current needs. And we're also going to be voting on a resolution affirming the status of New York City Public Schools as a welcoming district for all students.
Our meeting in the Manhattan High School's President's Council is February 24th at 7 p.m. Come and meet the Manhattan High School's superintendents. I'm also gonna give my report with, we have been extremely busy with expedited elections, Parents Association and Parents Teachers Association training, providing FAFSA and financial literacy. We're also going to have SUNY administration coming to present and provide opportunities for our high school seniors, and the UFT internship opportunities, which the deadline is to apply is February 28th. And just in case, another thing, Manhattan High Schools, in collaboration with District 5, we are doing our second New York City Department of Education Artificial Intelligence Summit on February 28th. If you would like more information with that regards, please email me. In one of the slides, my email is there, which is MHS President's Council at nyc.goe.gov. And I'm here for any questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Rosa. Is there any questions for Rosa? All right, thank you, Rosa. Appreciate you coming.
Of course, thank you.
All right, just gonna give a second.
Oh, go back. Sorry. I'll leave it a little bit longer.
All right, that's probably good, yeah, no.
All right.
All right, any other informational updates?
Well, the city.
I think we're fine, yeah.
No, we have youth education.
Okay. All right, is there someone here from New York Junior League?
Yes.
Okay, you have the floor.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ananya. I'm here for the New York Junior League, and Karis, who's also part of New York Junior League, is also here, so she might be jumping in a bit. But I'm here to talk more about the Take Office program. Take Office event that's going to be on March 15th. I had come a couple months ago and we had a very basic idea of what we were thinking. And now that we have more details, I wanted to share our plan and see if anyone would be interested in potentially being a speaker or just joining for a networking lunch that we're going to have, or even just have ways to get students, mainly high school women, involved in this event. So just a recap of what this is. It's going to be an event focused on getting young women engaged in their community. So learning about civic engagement and learning about what it means to research policies and just know more about government and politics in general. So yeah, this is the flyer that we have. So the theme is Your Vote, Your Voice. And a lot of the students that will be there can't yet vote. So we're looking for other ways for them to get involved in the community. So right now we have a couple of speakers from MSNBC. We have a candidate for city council. We're working with Tayari to possibly get someone from the DA's office, and we're working with reading partners to get someone to speak. But we're still open to having more speakers for our panel, and would love for more people to get involved with that. So if you're interested, definitely let me know. And this could be we're looking for quite a range of people. So it could be, talking about media literacy and what does it mean to learn about politics or read about these issues, or it could be, how to get involved in your community and what it means to volunteer or look for internships that are related to issues that you're passionate about. And speakers will come in for a fireside chat. So it'll be a panel and then the girls can ask questions, and there'll also be a networking lunch. And then we also want to see if there's ways to sort of market this event. It's going to be a small event, so about 15 to 20 girls. But if there's anyone that has ways of promoting this or getting people to sign up, that would also be really, really helpful for us. Yeah, are there any questions about that? I feel like I kind of ran through that pretty quick.
I have some questions.
Good.
Thank you for your presentation. I guess I see some of it on the flyer. So this is open to any young ladies in the 11th and 12th grade. Is that the only age range? What about young ladies who just transitioned into college?
No, we're looking more for high school students. So it's going to be specifically targeting people in that age range. And that's why a lot of our speakers are going to be focusing not only on what voting means, but also how to get involved in your community before you're at voting age. So it's kind of tailored to that age group.
Okay, and are you looking specifically for women speakers, or can the speakers be any, does it matter or not? And how should we connect you with speakers?
Yeah, the speakers can be anyone. So the students involved will all be women, but I mean, they can benefit from learning from a variety of people. So anyone that's interested and has something to share and is willing to be part of the panel, we would love to stay in touch and work out something.
Who should we reach out to?
I can share their contact information.
Yeah, because I should be able to be there, however, I do not wanna. I'm gonna see if we could find someone like a woman leader on the board to be on the panel, because I think that'll be a little bit more appropriate, even though you said anyone could come. So I will ask around, but I will be in attendance.
That would be amazing. Yeah, thank you.
Alright, so I will contact you by the end of this week. I'll ask around and see if I could find out.
Thank you.
Alright, any questions?
No one online with further questions.
Alright.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you always inviting us to things.
Of course, thank you.
Alright,
You can ask if there is someone who did email us earlier today who has a program. This is Fatima Hemmings. Fatima, are you still here with us? You wanted to go over your program really quickly with us?
Yes,
How-
good evening, everyone. How are you?
It's just brief. I asked Fatima to be
Yeah.
brief. Right. Go ahead, Fatima. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll be really quick with you. I'm new to the community. I'm a small business. I'm renting a salon suite down on 125th Street and 3rd Avenue. With that salon suite, it solely funds my internship program, which we offer positive peer relationship workshops, conflict resolution workshops, professional communication for the youth, all while teaching them hair care services, teaching them the basics of how to do natural hair. So my background is in juvenile justice. I've done that for about 15 years. I was an assistant director of operations. I was over about 7 detention facilities. Currently now I work for ACS. I'm an instructor. I instruct the staff that work at Crossroads and Horizon Detention Center. So I'm using all of these skills with, the experience that I have with dealing with these youth. And these are a lot of skills that they lack. So I'm trying to just, teach them some youth development skills just to get them ready for the workforce. And I figure here would be something is hands-on, is something that they can, kinetics where they can actually listen while they're actually doing something hands-on. So that's what I'm offering.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to meet you.
You as well.
You are welcome to come back whenever you want and present. Just, submit the form and stuff if you would like to give a more detailed presentation. Sorry we couldn't really teach you today, but I would.
Thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself.
All right. I see a hand from Malik. Then I'm gonna go to Jessica Morris because I saw her hand. Was that Jessica Morris?
She did, but she put it back down, so we can check back.
All right, Malik.
Can I ask Jessica, you got something to say?
No, Malik.
Go Malik. You go first. You're on the committee.
Oh, I mean, I don't really care about that. Hello, how you doing, Fatima?
I'm finding yourself.
Question, for the, you said it's for girls, right? For the girls?
It's
As
for
far
girls,
as
but it's
the
open to young men as well, if that's, if they're interested.
What is your timeline for that, or to help out the young men? I mean, the young ladies or whoever wants to be a part of it.
As far as when I choose to, when I
When you
want
wanna
to start, or
start
as
the-
far as how long will it last?
Well, both.
So I'm trying to start it within the next 3 weeks. The salon suite actually opens on Monday, but I'm trying to start it within the next 3 weeks, and it'll be 6-week sessions with them seeing me 4 times a week, and it'll be an hour each day during the week, and it'll be 2 hours on the weekend. So that's 4 hours a week for 6 weeks.
And what ages specifically are you talking?
The age range is between 14 and 18. Anything over 18, they can actually go to beauty school, but they are welcome to still come as well and be in an apprenticeship.
All right. I see Jessica's hand again. Jessica, you wanna go?
Thank you, Asher, for being so on it with acknowledging online participants. And I just wanted to voice my support. Fatima, it sounds like a really incredible program and located at a heart of the district where we're to see good things happen, positive energy. And I think the time frame and scope, hopefully there's more to hear once you get off the ground.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any other questions? All right.
This is free?
That was a great question. I thought it was, but.
I don't wanna assume, but I'm asking.
Well, as of right now, I'm working to fund it myself. I'm looking for funding, but as of right now, it is free. Eventually, hopefully, I'll get some funding for it. But I'm also doing regular clients to fund this program.
It's a great initiative. I love the way you disguise behind the scenes the real social emotional learning.
She did.
And you're right.
You gotta make sure.
It's so easy to give kids something else and then teach them something else while you're giving them that something. So kudos to you and wish you best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you will come back and present to us again. With
Yes,
a full-on
if there's a specific form, can you email me the form so that I can fill it out for the presentation?
Yes, I'm pretty sure I have your email because I did receive your email this morning.
Okay.
Next month sounds good.
Next
Yeah.
month, we have a whole bunch of stuff. So
Okay,
let's
so
see.
April.
Let's see.
Okay.
All
That
right.
means get it together, Fatima.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying we got a lot of stuff, so I wanna make sure everyone who comes to present has the time that they deserve. I don't wanna shove a whole bunch of people onto 1 month just to, just to get out of the way. So, all right, next agenda item. All right, Tyler, you're there. What thing?
The slides.
Oh, yes, I sent you the slides, yeah. So. I could introduce you, or you can introduce yourself if you want. Okay, sorry. All right, so this is Tyler Dillard. She's the education coordinator for Children's Aid at Lexington Academy. And she just wants to come and give a presentation about some of the work that Children's Aid does within the Lexington Academy School. So I know you hear a lot, David and I talking about Children's Aid and stuff like that, but she's the brains behind it all, so.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Good evening.
You admitted that you're the brains behind it all? That was not.
Good evening, everyone, and those on the call. I'm Tyler Dillard. Yes, I'm the education coordinator at Children's Aid Lexington Academy. East Harlem raised me. I went to talented and gifted at the Cedar Point Complex from kindergarten to 8th grade. And now I'm back teaching, and it's like a full circle moment, but I really wanted to just showcase some of the performing arts programming that we've been doing there and to get more community involvement. So some of our performing arts programming goals is to enhance creativity and self-expression, improve social and emotional development, increase student engagement and participation, and strengthen community and family involvement. So we would love to see more people representative of the community there as well. Next slide, please. So some of our partnership and community involvement goals is to create a stronger community connection, enhance program quality offerings, and provide more opportunities for students. With all the efforts that we're doing and teaching the kids in performing and stage presence, it would be awesome to help them get more opportunities in performing at different organizations around. And so I just wanted to, that's fine, you can. That we have small clips of just some of our past performances. This is a clip from, I believe, the spring show, but the theme was We Are One, where each group had a specific part of the world that they learned about, and then they presented it at our spring show. So it's just a shot.
Was this
just a
one
little
of the
bit.
Caribbean?
Yeah, so this is the Caribbean performing. Yes, for free. And so they have different flags, representative of different parts of the world, and they created their own map. So it was a very involved curriculum where the entire spring program, they learned about that part of the world and then implemented their performance. And then,
And the host MCs were like pilots on an airplane. They
yeah.
go and take you to different countries.
Yeah, so we really make sure we try to tie it all into the theme and incorporate all of the grades, part of the program. And then this is the second, next slide, right?
Oh, that's a spring.
And then during our summer rising program this past summer, our theme was Under the Sea, where we had Alexa, who's now a fourth grader, singing a song from Little Mermaid and her cousins, yes, where we tied it into different songs that was part of the Under the Sea. And so it's been really exciting to see like how much she's grown over the time, because she used to be so shy. And so these are just some of the things that we're really trying to implement and do more of, but actually have more people from the community be engaged in to see as well.
Cause the kids work very hard, I would say that, like, yeah.
Okay, I don't.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And so our next show that we were working very hard on is The Wickedest Wiz of Harlem. It's going to incorporate 3 of the main shows, Wicked, Wizard of Oz, and The Wiz. And so our hopes is to tie into the theme, of course, the main theme of the show is home and community. And so that's why I'm here today, to really ask all of you and your efforts to help in bringing the show to life. And so I do have a short activity. I don't know how I'm gonna make this work, but I'm going to give a Post-it. And I would love for you all to write on one of the Post-it notes, what makes you think of Harlem, what means home to you in East Harlem. And then on the second Post-it note, if you can write down of the actual physical place. So the first one's gonna be the thought, and the thought that ties into the actual place in East Harlem. Are y'all okay with that? Real quick?
All right.
It has to be in East Harlem or the whole Harlem.
You know what? I'm gonna say the whole Harlem. Because East Harlem raised me, but I lived in Harlem. So I get it. So real quick, just take one of one.
So also with all this, and just adding, as we reopen the East Harlem Center, one of the themes is to develop a performing arts center and bringing back performing arts, both to the children's aid and to East Harlem. And as many of you know, the board has been working in the community, many individuals are making this a theater district. That we have many theaters and places of performing arts, and it's always been one rich of culture. And although I was one of those kids that came to children's aid because basketball was the one that drew me, my mother wasn't a ball player, she was a musician. And again, I always thought that we should be able to provide opportunities and for each different child.
And also as someone who was a participant within, like East Harlem. Within East Harlem, like center that's now at Lexington Academy.
Is the thought, orange is the.
Okay, what's it called, when I was doing, when I was growing up, like, I'm no dancer, I will fully admit that, but I did like dance team and stuff. And I was pushed to do stuff that I was uncomfortable with, and that's something that we do also, like pushing the kids to try new things. As someone also who had to teach the curriculum as a counselor, I will fully say when she said that it's the performances encompass the whole curriculum, it really does. Like we were each group, like my group last year did it was the Caribbean, right? Yeah, Caribbean. And I fully was doing lessons on the Caribbean, like the kids were learning about different places, whether their family was from the Caribbean or not. So it very much is an all-encompassing thing, so.
And so I'm hoping to tie this into the curriculum. So, it's a full-on interactive experience for the kids, and that they're also learning. And to see like, this is their home, this is the community. And it's not just, oh, I'm giving them songs and a script to read, right? It's just really supposed to be interactive and meaningful. So, but thank you. Whoever has eyes, I'll put it up and have to read them.
I'm trying to spell out.
Thank you. I know, I feel bad whoever's on the call, they probably be on the chat. They're coming home from like.
I tell you know, it's funny. I look at this group here. And 3 young people right here, well, there's 4 young people I've worked with.
That's crazy.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Right? And this young lady, me and her father grew up together.
There you go, you know.
So I knew her before she was born.
Oh, okay.
It's coming home.
Yeah,
Oh, Russell too.
Thank you.
yes. We are everywhere. All right. I wanna say, I asked Tyler to like come a few weeks ago, and
Thank you.
she said, when I told her she was coming, she was like, I'm coming in person, right? Because I wanna make sure that, like, people can see, so I appreciate her.
Thank you. But I just wanna read some of these.
Yes, let's see what we put up here.
Has everybody had a chance to put it? Oh.
Come on.
All right, so let's see.
No.
What does COVID calling me to you? All right.
Yeah.
She never does anything sensitive.
No, I'm
It's a
not a
compliment,
simple
it's a
person, I'm
compliment.
sorry. If I'm gonna do something, it's gonna have meaning, okay? I'm sorry, that's just me. All right. Proud, each one to teach one. That's the feeling and this. Okay, fun, celebratory, and festive. Street fairs in the summer. Mhm. Home, each one teach one. Lexington houses. I'm sorry, I came to the good. Yeah. It says name.
Neighbors?
It looks.
Somebody in here
They
wrote.
ain't saying
Somebody
no.
wrote it.
I mean, whoever wrote it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, all right.
You gotta score, Joe.
Okay.
You let her struggle. Whoever wrote it.
Okay, my friends, East Harlem Center. The Young
Lords.
Lords and Renaissance by Black and Puerto Rican. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Resistance by Black and Puerto Rican. Yes. The People's Church.
Yeah.
Yes. Summertime Community, Marcus Garvey Park. East Harlem Center Home, or already been one. Coming Home, La Familia. East Harlem Center Home. And then we got Community with the Block, Marcus Garvey Park. And I read it all, right?
Yeah, you want to circle, yeah.
So this is what hopefully.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we'll also see y'all at the show, and then we're gonna make more opportunities for the kids to perform. All right, thank you.
And anybody that wants to volunteer for kids, we open for volunteers. Kids need adults to
Yeah.
help guide them and offer opportunities that sometimes parents cannot.
I just had a question. It says spring, but is there actual date?
Yes, right now, tentative date, June 11th.
Yes, and that's contingent upon something maybe changing in the school, because we get bumps.
Yes, but that's what we have so far.
Yeah. So, any other questions for Tyler?
But thank you, I appreciate it for giving me the opportunity.
No hands raised, okay.
No hands raised online? All right, thank you. And we love it when people come in person. Because sometimes it'd be like we talk in screen. So, yeah. Take it home.
Thank you, Tyler.
All right, thank you, Tyler. All right. Larry.
Okay, doctor.
Hi, y'all. So my name is Galidi Salas Ramirez. I've been in East Harlem for a while. I was the former president of CB4 and also sat on the panel for educational policy appointed by the Manhattan Borough President.
Sorry, Doctor, do you mind standing up so like
Yeah, sure.
any of the cameras can
Got it.
catch you? Go.
And so currently I am a free agent, which means that I am supporting schools and school governance as much as I can. Currently, we are in a situation where, to be really frank, schools are under mayoral control, which means that the mayor can make decisions that go above and beyond what our school leaders and what our district superintendents can do. And we have seen in the last couple of weeks that our mayor is also looking for a pardon and or a dismissal of his federal case.
Receive.
Receive, well, it's still being in discussion, but we are seeing, and today an article came out on Chalkbeat, how we are all really concerned about our children. In the letter that was published yesterday, sent to the Department of Justice by President Donald Trump, it says explicitly that Eric Adams should get this case pardoned, but in exchange, we're giving him our immigrant children. And so there are several resolutions tonight. I think you have a resolution that was drafted. What?
What does that mean?
That means he is allowing ICE agents to come into school buildings if they want to. Now, our district principals, and across the city, they're being told that the only way that they can go into school buildings is with a judicial warrant that has to be cleared by DOE legal. That is currently what is being said. That does not mean that tomorrow it could be something different. That also doesn't mean that if you get a pissed off SSA or something is happening, they won't let the ICE agents come into the school. Now, I know and trust our educators and our leaders, and I trust our superintendent is doing everything in her power to make sure that children are protected. District 4 East Harlem did take a lot of newcomers in the last 2 years. We actually opened our doors when other districts across the city were like, nope, we don't want these people in our school buildings. District 4 said, no, we're gonna take care of these families, and we have been, which means that we have to have this extra layer of protection for children and families. So the panel for educational policy last month passed a resolution that affirmed the Department of Education's commitment to our immigrant students. However, that resolution didn't go as far as we would like it to go, and it did not use explicit language of the law of why immigrant students, independent of their status, are protected within our schools. And so this resolution that you have in front of you tonight does have that legal language and provides multiple recommendations in terms of how to do that. A lot of it is providing that support for staff, for school safety agents, and just ensuring that we are protecting our children. Hopefully in the coming weeks, I'll be sending a couple more resolutions denouncing the executive orders and all of the different things. In addition to this resolution, I would also like to put a plug for 2 campaigns that are going to be launched next week. One is the People's Plan. So the People's Plan is looking for a just budget for the people. We do know that in the last couple of years, Mayor Eric Adams has implemented austerity budgets. In terms of youth and education, he is cutting $320 million from 3K and pre-K, which is a real concern for those people that provide early childhood education. And so, which we know that if we are going to be that city, that's the best city to raise a family, families need early childhood support, care, and education, quality education. So the People's Plan will be launching their campaign on February 19th on the steps of Tweed. In addition, East Harlem is one of the target districts for people to come out, engage, get questions answered. The other campaign that's going to be launched is called Spilling the Tea campaign. It's being led by New Yorkers for Racially Just Public Schools, which is a coalition of nonprofits and community-based organizations, as well as advocates, which includes Advocates for Children, Class Size, the Alliance for Quality Education, New York City Opt Out, Black Lives Matter at School, Circle Keepers, etc. And we have a platform for what we believe would be racially just schools, which is supporting integrated schools, supporting fully funded schools, supporting more counselors, less cops in schools, supporting class size, supporting culturally responsive practices, which includes the protection and supports for LGBTQIA plus students, which is also under attack. So so that'll be February 20th. Also at Tweed, and East Harlem again is going to be another site where we will have pop-up tea parties for the community to engage in with music and art, to engage the community to talk about what it is that you want to see in our upcoming mayor that will help support our schools. In addition, one big topic, of course, will be mayoral control. If we have a more democratic, community-driven governance for our schools, maybe we can provide our children with the education that they deserve, including protecting them from ICE. So hopefully you'll take a look at that resolution. There's a typo. Oh no, that's it. Chicago.
Alright. So I sent this
Feel free to ask me any questions.
a while ago. I wasn't sure if it was included in the meeting materials. I'm so sorry if it wasn't.
Yeah, I'm out of sight.
Oh, okay. So we could read this now. Do you mind reading it? Because I can't really see from here. Big.
So whereas the 47th president, Donald J. Trump, on his first day in office, 1/21/25, took significant steps to limit immigrant rights by signing Executive Order 13768 entitled Enhancing Public Safety in the Interior of the United States, an order that includes several actions aimed at increasing immigration enforcement, such as cutting federal funding to sanctuary jurisdictions. Again, New York City is a sanctuary city, New York State is a sanctuary state. And so that would be impacting the protections that our immigrants have from ICE. Expanding enforcement priorities. I don't know if you've seen the news, but there's like a quota. ICE has to take at least 75 people per day in different cities. And before, they would be protected if they had any sort, like an immigrant would be protected if they had any sort of violation that they had to handle in the courts. Now, no matter what it is that you have going on, like if you're undocumented, you're gone. Empowering local law enforcement, so they are engaging other types of law enforcement agencies to be able to also act as immigration enforcement functions. And then restoring the Secure Communities program. They believe that this is a controversial program that was passed by Obama. And once again, this would allow them to identify individuals for deportation. And so we have seen a decrease in attendance across the city. Our Chancellor, Melissa Avila-Stamos, testified in the Senate last week that there has been a significant reduction in attendance in our schools because kids are fearful. Kids are fearful of losing their parents. Parents are fearful of leaving their homes with their children and being deported. And so we do know that Chicago Public Schools, which is currently transitioning from being a district that was under mayoral control and now it's being community driven, but they were the first in the country to pass a resolution to keep ICE out of school grounds and to make sure that training was provided to those in staff. California has also enacted comprehensive measures to be able to protect school communities and make them safe zones. In January of 2025, the New York State Department of Education, so this was on behalf of the commissioner, Tish James, as well as the governor, sent out guidance on all of the protections that exist in our public schools throughout the state. And so that is all cited there, if you want to keep going up. Including, again, the legal language. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I know it might be a little tedious, but if you could
You
just
want me
read
to-
it all because this wasn't sent out before the
Okay.
meeting. I want to make sure people know.
Okay. All right, so New York State guidance, any student from the age of 5 to 21 receives a high quality public education, independent of citizenship status. And the school's responsibilities to uphold FERPA laws to protect each student's identity and the enforcement of various federal and state laws, including the New York State Education Law, New York Family Court Act, and the U.S. Supreme Court decision of Plyler versus Doe, which imposes the duties of school district with respect to detention, interrogation, and removal of students from school property. Whereas New York City Public Schools wholeheartedly embraces a commitment to creating and maintaining a safe and welcoming environment to New York City Public School students and staff. Whereas New York City Public School students reflects the diverse population of the world. which the district celebrates in many ways through students' daily experiences. Whereas all New York City public school students, staff and students are entitled to the First Amendment right to free speech, but harassment, discrimination, bias-based harm have no place in New York City public school communities and is not tolerated. Whereas New York City public school students, staff, and their families originated from many countries besides the United States. They may have temporary legal status under the Deferred Action of Childhood Arrivals or DACA, may be undocumented and or live in mixed status households. Whereas Plyer versus Doe, the United States Supreme Court held that all immigrant children are people in any ordinary sense of the term and hence protected from the discrimination under the 14th Amendment, and that all children, regardless of their immigration status, have a right to free public education. Whereas New York State guarantees the right to individuals from 5 to 21 free public education, regardless of nationality, immigration status, prohibiting discrimination. Whereas New York State Human Rights Law, Section 4 states, it shall be unlawful discriminatory practice for an educational institution to deny use of its facilities to any person otherwise qualified by reason of its citizenship or immigration status. All of,
Yeah, I didn't realize how long it was.
Yeah,
Do
keep
y'all
going.
want a summary or do you want it read word for word?
all of it is legal,
Yeah.
like
so-
legal jargon.
Are you trying to vote on this tonight?
It was supposed to be sent out, so I wanted to vote on it tonight, but if y'all want.
I was.
So wait.
You have like 5 minutes to read
No,
it.
I was about to,
Devices.
yeah, I was gonna.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just gonna offer to read it out loud from start to finish. Just so we could hear it, and also if you could just share it real quick, so some of us on computers.
Yeah,
can look at
I'm
it.
so sorry. It was
That
meant
would
to
be-
be sent out
Yeah.
before the meeting.
They're
It was supposed
all-
to be the main materials, but.
All of the other stuff are like citing chancellor's regulations and stuff that, again, affirm. And then the other thing that wasn't included in the panel for educational policy was, we here in Uptown were dramatically impacted by the last Trump administration. If you recall, in 2017, we received a lot of unaccompanied minors at Kajuga centers right here on 130 something. On the east side, we also had ICE trucks right outside of schools. So me personally, I was standing outside of schools, protecting and supporting families. And so we fear that this will be enhanced with the coming executive orders or the current executive orders. And so in turn, the rest of the resolution has very specific recommendations in terms of how to address these concerns. Because there has to be policy changes.
Um,
I'm gonna forward
I'm
this.
trying to send it to everyone. I
got it, I got it.
oh, you got it?
Yeah, I'll just send it to all of your emails right now.
I appreciate it. So 5 minutes for everyone to read it. I'm sorry it wasn't sent out before. I sent it. That was my mistake. I should have caught it when the meeting materials were sent out. Did everyone receive it?
Yeah, it's gonna say no subject, but it'll come from my work email.
I was gonna read it out loud and we all gonna read it.
She was reading it out loud just now.
Not as fun.
Oh, she didn't?
Well, I summarized. It's so many meetings.
passed. Make sure the document is also, this template resolution is available on our Airtable from our webpage, so if anybody wants to access it and take a look at it themselves and read it.
The CEC is gonna be voting on this tomorrow. And we've had a couple of other councils across the city. The advantage to doing it at CECs and community boards is that the city actually has to respond.
If anything, Isaac, if you know, for the sake of time for transparency, we can read over the Air Force if you'd like. Yeah. And then reading it out loud, I mean, for the public.
Okay, now, therefore be it hereby resolved by blank that NYCPS schools will always welcome all students, staff, and their families regardless of identity, gender, religious background, and legal status. Two, NYCPS will work alongside its union partners and immigration advocates to provide training and support for students, staff, and their family on immigration rights, understanding various legal statuses, and the overall health and well-being of those affected. Three, NYCPS will make available on its website current issues and events page multilingual resources for its students, staff, and their families in partnership with the city on legal assistance, immigration rights, mental health care, and public safety available for all NYCPS students and families. Four, NYCPS will include in its legislative agenda advocacy at the state and federal levels for deferred action for childhood arrivals, temporary protective status, and refugee settlement programs, as well as oppose any legislation for the creation of a Muslim registry system or eroding civil rights protections upon our communities. Five, in order to provide a public education regardless of a child's or a family member's immigration status, absent any applicable federal, state, or local law, regulation, ordinance, or court decision, NYCPS shall abide by the following conduct. It shall, personnel shall not inquire about or record a student's or a family member's immigration status, and pursuant to the Family Education Right and Privacy Act, we can do that after. Thank you. Shall not disclose without parental consent the immigration status of any students or other personal identifiable information. Two, any communication of federal agencies or officials initiated by school or school personnel concerning confidential information about a student or student's family member, including but not limited to information about gender, identity, sexual orientation, status as a survivor of domestic violence, survivor of sexual assault crime witness, recipient of public assistance, actual or perceived immigration or citizenship status, national origin, school discipline record, and all information included in an individual's or household's income tax records is prohibited unless permission is granted by the student if the student is 18 years old or older, or a student parent or legal guardian. Three, NYCPS shall refuse all voluntary information sharing with immigration agents across all aspects of the district to the fullest extent possible under the law. Four, any request by immigration agents for information or to access a school site shall be initially denied and immediately forwarded to the superintendent and council for review and a decision on whether to reverse the denial and allow access to the site and or a decision on whether the information shall ensure district compliance with Playa versus Doe and other applicable laws. The request must be provided with adequate notice so that the superintendent and general counsel can take steps to provide for the emotional and physical safety of the student and staff. Should an immigration agent request access to a school site, the superintendent and or general counsel shall ask for the immigration agent's credentials, ask the agent why the agent is requesting access, and ask to see a warrant signed by a federal or state judge. Immigration agents must provide written authority from ICE instructing them to enter district property and for what purposes, as well as a warrant signed by a federal or state judge which specifies the name of the person under arrest.
All right, I got it.
I'm at the end.
And
MY,
you want to do it?
You guys want me to go? I can just. I'll go through it. Don't worry. NYCPS will not enter into agreements with state or local law enforcement agencies, ICE, or any other federal agency for the enforcement of federal immigration law except as required by law. NYCPS and its staff, faculty, employees, and school safety agents will not honor any ICE detainers or requests. School safety agents are prohibited from inquiring about or reporting any information regarding an individual's immigration status or country of birth. School safety agents shall create a policy acknowledging that they have no authority to enforce federal immigration law and declaring that they will not participate in immigration enforcement efforts of federal authorities. This includes SSAs, not holding people on ICE detainers, not responding to ICE notification or transfer requests, not making arrests based on civil immigration warrants, and not allowing ICE to use campus facilities for immigration enforcement purposes. NYCPS personnel shall treat all students equitably in the receipt of all school services, including but not limited to the free and reduced lunch program, transportation, and educational instruction. And back to 6. NYCPS will advocate for respectable DHS shelter placement as many of its students and families as possible. And finally, 7, NYCPS, PEP, and Community Education Council, I'm assuming like 4 and 5, since that's what we started, service plus, will work in collaboration with any agency needed, we'll call it that, any agency needed to uphold 287G, to uphold NYC sanctuary city status and to maintain the dignity and humanity of all NYC's residents, including our newest New Yorkers.
All right.
That's language. For
I just have a question.
Yeah, go.
Will and I don't see why, schools should record immigration information, but will the lack of schools being able to record any information work against families in any way in the long run, from home to apply for anything?
No,
Recorded,
it's not, but they're trying. The thing is, there's,
so it's not, it's already not.
it's already not recorded, yeah.
It's not like working.
Currently, but some families are reporting that their children they're being asked for their children's information now, and again, very dependent on who your superintendent is, who your principal is. There are principals and staff and school communities that do believe, like I said, there was a whole resolution in District 2 that we don't want these kids taking our kids' seats. And so we just need to ensure the safety of children across the state.
I think as some of us in here work in schools that are serving these populations in high numbers, it is a very scary time. I'm gonna be for real. And there's a lot of questions from kids that we don't know really how to answer yet. But what we can tell them is they're safe here. And that's the number one thing that Dr. Tracy said during a meeting with like the staff at the school, that we can assure them that everyone here wants them to be safe and they're safe here. So I think that that's something just to put out there, like, unless you're really working in these schools, I don't think people truly see it, because we get caught up in a lot of the language and stuff like that and the rumors and stuff. So, yeah.
Right after the swearing in, attendance was lower.
I work
It
in
just
the
was
language
like,
class,
whoa.
half of them not.
Noticeable.
We've gotten reports of in schools in other boroughs that 200 kids have missed.
But it's also the social emotional trauma that's set, you know, we had a parent. Immigrant family living in a shelter, parent was late. He heard that shelter was raided by ICE. Was the parent picked up? Luckily, the parent got there a little late, you know, got caught up. But then that to everybody, to the kids, to the staff, it then involves a process that we should not have to normally do as part of our work.
And even little kids who you think they wouldn't understand, they do see that their friends are in school.
No, llegó la migra. Thank you.
I would like to take a position on this tonight, just because it's so urgent. However, if people want a month to read and think about it, I will not decline that. So I will take a motion or questions now
You would entertain a motion.
and entertain them. I'm sorry, I'm half asleep. I've been working. Yeah, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to support the resolution, being that it is a timely thing, if we have time to.
So much.
I would rather not. They pick the language too much. That was just my own. So, yeah, I'll make a motion to support the resolution.
To adopt,
Motion to support, to adopt the resolution. That was presented, with the typo correction, I know you're gonna do it.
Yes, we'll make sure it goes, yes.
Khalid,
I'll second.
alright, Khalid, can you call the roll? Just wanna make sure everything is done.
Just make sure. So we have 6 members present, 4 needed for the motion to pass. David Giordano,
Yes.
John Green,
Aye.
Malik McCullough,
Yes.
Jennifer Meyer,
Yes.
Asher Rodriguez.
Yes.
Isaac Scott, Russell Schuler.
Yes.
I'm sorry, we have 7 members and 4 is needed to pass, but the motion passes unanimously.
Alright, thank you, everyone. I'm gonna try to move this agenda along a little bit.
Thank you, Claire.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's,
only seven.
we have 8 members total and 7. we have
Oh,
7.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah, there were 2 removed.
three removed.
No, yeah, that's why I was asking, because it was more.
Yeah, we sorry, no, we showed you, I just wanna continue on so people can get home.
Okay.
At timely basis.
Just fine.
Alright.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, doctor.
Alright. Thank you, Clarence. Alright. Everyone's favorite thing, the budget.
So I'll breeze through this very quickly for you guys. Essentially, the preliminary budget documents were released by the mayor's office. And the budget register has been made available for everyone, but this is just a preliminary responses from the agencies, and our task is not to re-review our budget requests at this time. What we're supposed to be doing is crafting our agency-specific responses to the mayor. And ideally, we would have our comments to submit in time for next week's district needs and budget committee to compile and send to the mayor. So I gave you guys already the link to the agency-specific responses draft for fiscal year 2026. And you would want to, you can of course consider the budget request items, the responses from there. You can also go into OMB's page for public relations and look at a simplified summary for the preliminary budget, which will give you just a rundown of what the mayor's office is seeking to fund for fiscal year 26. And you can go through this and see, what's important regarding youth and education and how it aligns with this committee's goal. You can also, of course, even consider the concerns regarding ICE in this response as well. And crafting up a response to the mayor's office regarding, what you want to see, where you want to see, funding allocated for the protection of students, et cetera, and so forth. So that's the task of this committee, and you guys have access to this document. I don't expect, of course, any of us to have anything written out right now, but it'd be great if you can, you know, include some language, if you want to keep the same language and update the budget request tracking goals, you can definitely do that. And of course, not recommended, but you also have the option of not submitting any comments as well. So that's the,
You're gonna say something?
look like I said, was
I
gonna
have a question that I want to
Yeah, go.
The question is actually for, me. So, after the committee, 'cause I made a, just last night at our meeting, I made a comment, but I had to think about it, so I wanted to get clarity on it. After the committee, sort of gives the language and says, hey, this is the language we want. Does the statement, does the district needs committee or does the chair go in and make edits after that? Or do you guys make edits after that?
So, maybe you've been speaking with Angel about this, so we're trying to have the district needs and budget committee, you know, really take hold of this process. And so what we're ideally trying to do is compile the language, yes, from this committee, the committee chair, and then forward it to the district needs budget committee. And that way, the entire document is compiled and then submitted from essentially this office. So Angel would be sending the response appropriately to city planning.
So the reason I asked that is because, I feel like, and I guess I should also Andrew, yes, as well. But I'm feeling like if a committee puts the language out the way they wanted it out, it should remain that way because the committee is actually the ones doing their work. So that's kind of why I was asking that question. Of course. So I guess
So I would think, Isaac, like, whoever is working on that particular area should be in contact with the chair of the
whoever
committee.
working with, yes, that's
I mean, ideally, it's supposed to be your vice chair. But I know Jessica asked me, and I missed the email in between, but she asked me to work on 2 other committees as opposed to youth. And I'm like, well, aren't their vice chairs supposed to be in the committee working on that? And I won't mention which committees. But you know, again, I think this thing has gotten lost sometimes between both the office and not, and it's really become stagnated where it wasn't really accurate. So I know I wasn't asked to work on youth, but I would want to work on youth, right?
Yeah.
And. No.
I,
So, but I would work on whoever lists that and Ash to what all our goals and how we tie it together so that it becomes. Because, you know, we all see that, you know, it's so interesting when we do that survey and people in the community look at it, we look at it and say, yeah, we see that, but we see it differently, right? Or we may not see, you know, we may see different facts of perception as they relate. So, like, again, if I'm asked to work with any other committee than youth, the same I would work with the chair, I would work with the chair or the vice chair of that committee to make sure that it's in line, you know.
And again, this is a living document. You all have access to this, and you know, you could, of course.
And I don't think
add
anybody's gonna
comments.
be like, no, Isaac, we don't want to go try, you ain't gonna take it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a collaborative.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I just wanna point out a couple of requests that, like the responses we got from certain agencies. Because it is on topic with the discussion we were having today with Caleres about like inclusion within the schools and and something that we've been talking about with Human Services and Isaac being on this committee and Jen is the best thing because there's so much overlap. That I think that when we do this, when we do submit our comments, we need to highlight a lot more the fact that we're seeing the agency does not support and cannot accommodate these requests. Like the one about the gun violence and public health crisis in East Harlem.
Which track code?
40, I'm on priority 40. Yeah, number 40.
Oh, and expense.
Yeah, it was expense, yeah. Are we commenting on expense? I'm so sorry. I'm not sure.
So we're not focused on the budget requests, but what you guys should do is definitely,
Look at
of
the
course.
responses.
Yeah, look
Yeah,
at the
that's what I'm
responses,
saying,
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
And if we have any
specific comments that you
Or
want to.
questions, like,
Right,
what's-
correct, exactly. So you'll see if it's DOE and you're saying, well, you know, we've been seeing lately that we've been getting a lot of cannot accommodate requests. You know, our goal in East Harlem is to support our endangered students, et cetera, so forth. And, you know, you craft the language as it's given. So,
Okay, yeah.
all right, so 40, right?
Because we had, yeah, I wanna read 40 to, Jesus, to 45.
So this is HRA. Is this what you're talking about right here?
Yeah, 40 to 45, yes. The one from HRA. And because I'm pretty sure that was one of the double requests we put in for human services and youth and education. That was, yeah, yeah. So I'm just gonna read it out loud. Gun violence is a public health crisis in East Harlem, where recent data shows the community is disproportionately affected. I'm not gonna read the study right now. To address the crisis, funding is needed for comprehensive evidence-based interventions. These programs should violence prevention programs for at-risk youth, hiring additional violence interrupters, implementing hospital-based violence intervention programs, developing mechanisms to identify individuals at risk for gun violence, and educating the community on safe gun use and storage. By investing these measures, East Harlem can create a safer environment for all residents. They're saying the agency supports but cannot accommodate requests.
What was the explanation?
It said refer to mayor's office to prevent gun violence. OPGB works to coordinate, so that means that we would have to change that one.
That's what they told us.
Yeah,
Oh.
but you know, it's a constant, we're gonna jump around to different agencies until.
Yeah, but we didn't know, nobody even knows this agency. Nobody even knew that
I didn't even.
existed.
I'm gonna be for real.
No, I love the one when they say funding is but in part, but what part are you funding?
The two LGBT ones, so number 44 and 45.
Yeah,
We got agency does not support and cannot accommodate, remove request.
what was the explanation?
Yeah, that's
No
that's some
explanation.
nasty stuff that they said.
Please contact the,
On to ours and we had.
because two of them, because one of them was literally about suicide, I'm pretty sure. It says the agency does not support.
This DYCC.
No, this was Department of Education.
Yeah,
Says the agency does not support and cannot accommodate, remove requests. So
and
how would we go about like, I wanna make sure that we're advocating the best way we can.
right, and don't forget also during the summer, we have, or we're supposed to ideally be scheduling. Our agency meetings,
Yeah.
correct, and this is where, you know, the liaison or.
Yeah, discussions.
Correct, exactly, sure.
And
Something specifically like that,
just one
right?
more, I'm gonna highlight before we start getting into language in the thing. We got agency does not support and cannot accommodate, remove request, Department of Education. I'm gonna read this one. We request funding for adult education programs in East Harlem to support initiatives designed to improve literacy, workforce readiness, and digital skills among underserved and street-involved adult populations. These classes shall offer flexible learning schedules, including evening and weekend classes to accommodate working adults and parent services. Need additional funding, include GED preparation, vocational training, and ESL classes to empower residents to pursue higher education or better job opportunities. Increased participation with local employers and community organizations would ensure the curriculum is aligned with market needs, fostering long-term economic mobility and community development. They said agency does not support and cannot accommodate.
Which, sorry, which one?
That is 43.
No explanation.
Nope, all of these have no explanation. Please contact the agency directly and promptly for more information.
That's what we need to do.
So how would we contact them?
Usually it's go ahead.
Is Dr. Christie still on? Would she be able to give us the answer who the DOE to contact?
Probably perhaps, but usually.
Oh, I'm still on. What was the question?
We've gotten a lot of agency does not support and cannot accommodate and for DOE, spending requests, expense budget requests. It says, please contact the agency directly and promptly for more information.
I
How would I
mean,
go?
the thing is that I need a little bit more information about it because they have to, a lot of times the agency has not filled out all the paperwork. in alignment to what is required by New York City Public Schools.
Okay.
So I'm not for sure which, when it says Department of Agency, like, you know, I guess I just need more information because it really depends. Like I see on the one priority, it's talking about teaching staff. That might be more HR. And so like when it says responsible agency, the point person would vary.
Okay.
So when we receive our, like say, for example, the executive and the adopted budget register, we would be provided agency, this is not directly at you, Dr.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
no,
So-
I know. Mhm.
No, I wasn't sure if you were just still on.
So, like I said, during the summer, when we're supposed to be doing the agency, meetings, that's where
Mhm.
you direct your inquiries, Ash specifically, okay? So, we'll confirm with Angel, moving forward, because we weren't provided an updated, agency representatives list. Normally goes before the budget register. We would just
Okay.
only receive the receipt of the preliminary budget register.
All right.
Okay.
I mean, but I can always, you know, if moving forward, like if you have specific complaints, I can always see who would be the point. Or there's also we have a point person with like intergovernmental affairs who can also help see who is, you know, the point of contact, especially when it comes to funding or staff or the the different areas. So
All right.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, what's up?
Dr. Christie, is doctor or?
Doctor, yeah,
Okay,
doctor.
Dr. Christie. Question, in reference to like upgrades of certain schools, do you know specifically like a bathroom? How, like who would we go to or through for that?
So this is where it also varies too. It depends on whether it is something, depending on the upgrade. There's school construction authority, and then there is the deputy of school facilities. Typically speaking, from my end, I work closely with our deputy of school facilities, which is Michael Siciliano. However, it's important to note that for these big projects, he is merely the liaison. Every single project has a different project manager. But there is someone who's in charge of school construction at the top. So I mean, we could definitely, I mean, I think it's something definitely to escalate. The person in charge, like the big person in charge of everything is Kevin Moran. He's the person who's in charge of everything. As far as yeah, he's the top person, but like he has layers below him that like usually things aren't lifted to him until it's, you know, he's just gonna redirect it to different people below him.
Yeah, I guess more of my question, I mean, thank you for answering it. But I just wanted to kind of figure out like, you know, who do a school go to once they need, you
So,
know, these
yeah, so
specific
at the
upgrades?
Yeah,
And
so
who
at the
do
first
that?
level, they go to their custodial engineer. So every school has like a custodial, well, theoretically, every school has a custodial engineer. But it's also important to note that a lot of times one custodial engineer could have two buildings, right? So it's not like they're on site all the time. So every school has their own budget, but then they have a limited budget. So if it's minor repairs, they can do a lot of things on site. Anything that requires more money than is allowed by the school facilities, you have to put in a proposal, or you have to put in a capital plan budget or a grant, and that's when the school construction authority gets involved. I will tell you from my experience, school facilities moves much faster. They're much more reliable than school construction. School construction authority has to go through a whole bidding process. It is typically speaking, a multi-year project. And again, there's different project managers depending on, you know, like I can say for right now, with the 57 building, we're going on year 6 in the elevator for an accessibility project. And there just continues to be delays with getting the elevator put in and or the unintended things that will happen. So a lot of our buildings right now in East Harlem are under construction for different reasons. Whether,
So I think,
yeah, go ahead.
oh, sorry.
No,
Continue.
sorry.
I think in the comments that because really what we are focusing on tonight is just like our response. I don't think we're really focusing specific requests. That was my bad. I'm not fully, yeah. I think that we should, like, the language that we should put is involving just maybe like doubling down on, like, saying that a lot of the schools in East Harlem are older buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Substantial repairs.
Our buildings are old and, you know, I will tell you that, due to the, you know, just East Harlem and, so accessibility is an issue across the district. We do not have, most of our buildings are not fully accessible. However, I will say that by law, every year they're meeting the mandate, which is that we identify, I think it's 20% of our schools, which, or 10 to 20, it's like, I can't remember if it's 10 or 20%. So every year we're adding on a new school. So like we are 57 is in construction. 112 and 206 is as an accessibility project in construction. 155 and 377 is in construction. And the next proposed site more than likely will be the 108 building. And so that's for the accessibility projects. The bathroom upgrades, as you said, that's another issue. And then the air conditioning in public spaces, which you know very well, Asher, is an ongoing struggle in our community, not having AC.
That's like nothing. I'm just gonna say that, but yeah, what is it called? So, cause David's gonna be, oh, I did not see you, sorry. It's okay, go.
Derek Stampone, CB11M member, not a member of the committee, I'm an assistant principal. I wanted to speak a little bit, go back to the budget requests. Yeah. So I just wanted to comment maybe on the one about like the GSA. I don't remember which number.
It was 44, no, 45.
I'm curious if part of the challenge to getting the Department of Ed to support this and move it along, I wonder if it's also the way it's being asked for and how it would be implemented. And I picked that as an example. So, right, schools get money in a variety of ways. And sometimes we're able to get money through specific SAMs that go towards specific things. And so there is one around like affinity groups. And for example, like if I wonder if this request said, take SAM, whatever the number is, I don't know off the top of my head, and increase it from $400 to $600.
I could read you the exact request,
Right, like,
if you want.
But I don't want us to get.
I don't want, I guess I'm saying is like when they're talking about like why the not supporting it cannot accommodate, I'm curious, and I don't know if this is something to go into the responses, is thinking about like how would the money go from point A to point B? Because as this is sort of written, it's like, there's not really an avenue for them to like do that. That's the 2 cents I want to put out there as someone who works in a department at school, like sees how money goes out and how we're able to spend that money and how to like ask for it. So I just wanted to share that with you as you're thinking about this and working as a.
That would be Mark Anderson. That's
So David, since you're on district needs and budget, how exactly do you want to go about these comments?
Don't forget, guys, I also have available for you all to, in your shared drives. Going back to this. All right, an education committee, budget requests as stated district needs for the fiscal year 2026. and you'll have the same agency or specific responses draft. They'll focus on budget requests. Look at info statements on the preliminary budget. This will tell you exactly how you should craft the statement and how you should, what you use to reference it. Okay?
Do we have to write the
So is
comments
this new?
today?
Or was
or
that something
can-
you before?
Say that again? I'm sorry, so there was two questions.
No, we don't have to write it today.
No, but ideally you can have a comment ready in time for district needs and budget committee next Wednesday, because the response to the preliminary budget, the deadline is essentially like the 15th of February or the 31st, because it depends on, or 30 or 31 days after you receive it, correct? So you can just use our previous years.
I don't want to use the previous years. I would rather have people comment on it because I know the people in this room will comment on it, so.
Okay.
If everyone could by Friday, so that way, I don't want to make David do all the work, because he already has a lot to do. So if you could do it by Friday, so I could work on it this weekend. Because I actually have time this weekend to work on it, leave a comment and to order it. I don't remember. Anyway, I will have time to work on it this weekend,
Jessica Morris.
not Saturday, Sunday.
Jessica Morris, that's right.
Jessica Morris, you could
Thanks,
speak.
thanks, Asher. Thanks, Khalid. Just, point of observation from, having done this with, housing last week and sort of recognizing that the process is always a little confusing of like, where are we at now? And how do we make this the best, representation of what we need? It was good to make the distinction of updating, as one point of input from all committee members, being able to update or comment on the statement. That's one thing. There's also then the response that can be taken to, Khalid, I think you mentioned this, the district cabinet or consultation, which there's certain kind of points of feedback that are better brought to the table in that formal setting to be able to address the agencies. And then there's a separate set of conversations that are maybe more informal with, other points of contact that we have access to or other sets of issues that may be a less formal conversation that might gain some traction or resolve an issue. So I think those were the three tactics that were available at this point in the process. And just to make sure that for each line item or issue that this committee has and that all committees have, right, to be able to use them all appropriately. So commenting and refining the statement, then taking any point of feedback to the district consultation with the agency partners, however effective that may be or not. And then third being if there are more strategic points of contact or conversation to follow up on any specific items. So I hope that's helpful in any way.
It is, thank you, Jessica. So, because it's already 8:30 and I'm not trying to keep people here longer than they have to be. Is anyone opposed to everyone leaving 2 comments by Friday? And if I don't see the comments by Friday, no, I will be emailing you, please.
Just for clarification, you want to comment on the statement and then comment on the responses?
Yes.
And so you're considering all of that, right? So just use this form as a guideline, essentially to tell you, use these comments as testimony for the city council. That's the. I wanted to say specifically, so here we go, right, so when it comes, do not just list your budget requests.
Yeah.
Emphasize any major changes in your community, otherwise summarize your need statement. Stress support for projects and programs recommended by the agencies. Oppose preliminary budget decisions which are contrary to the board's needs, consider so forth. Formatting, opening statement, general reaction to the city policy as reflected in the preliminary budget, I already gave. This, you can go to the OMB publications webpage. And, right, and you also have the sample of this Department of Education response that we submitted previously. You can go along, follow along in that kind of
Yeah.
rhetoric, but of course specified for youth and community development if you'd like, and school construction authority. So you guys were just going over the lack of ADA accessible facilities or limited facilities in this district. Okay?
All right. Is there any opposition to one comment? One comment about basically saying,
Just one.
just basically advocating for not specific budget requests, but the subjects within the budget request. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right.
Right.
I don't hear anyone respond, so I'm gonna say it's okay. All right,
I hear no objections.
continue.
You guys
It's,
want-
it's already 8:30. Let's know. It's already
Okay, all right, no problem, no problem, no problem. But you guys should consider attending the other folks' events if possible.
Yes,
Okay.
I know that Parks has their event in April, and even though we're not specifically co-sponsoring it this year, I would like to see people there, because I know that from what I heard, they still want to do a youth focus with the schools. So, yeah. There is one more like announcement that I forgot to say earlier, that the CEC applications are being accepted now. If anyone wants to run for, if you know any parents in a District 4 school who want to run for a CEC spot, David, to submit applications by February 16th. And the applications for the New York City school portal. So. Right. Any new business? All right, continue. All right, roll call and adjournment.
David Giordano. Shimon Green. Here. Malik Zapella. Here. Jennifer Meyer. Asher Rodriguez.
Present.
Isaac Scott. And Russell Schuler.
Present.
That's it.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. All right. That's the hard thing.
We are still, he hasn't stopped recording.
Because you can't even.
Can't.